Welcome back to TV5 News at 9. Today we are talking about the census. This is very important information. Joining us this morning from the Great Lakes Bay region is Chloe Updegraff. Thank you so much for calling in today, Chloe. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really looking forward to talking about this with everyone.
This is important. Okay, so why is the census so important for residents in the Great Lakes Bay region specifically?
Yes, so the census is about community and political power. So many programs in our communities depend on our census responses for their funding. So things like Medicare and Medicaid, funding for schools, funding for our roads, funding for community food programs. All of those things depend on our community turning out strong and being counted in the census. And it's not just about funding those important programs, it's also our political voice. So our representation in Lansing and Washington, D.C. is dependent on our census counts. And so both for the funding aspect as well as our political voice at the state level and national level, it's so important that folks in our communities be counted if they haven't already.
That's right. So how can someone actually fill out their census, Chloe?
Yeah, it's actually really easy to take the census. It takes less than 10 minutes and it's confidential information, and so it's not shared with any other government organization or entity. And folks can go to 2020census.gov and fill out the census online, count everyone in their home. They can also call in at 844-330-2020. And most folks by now will have gotten a mailer from the Census Bureau as well. And so if they prefer, they can fill that out and mail it back into the Census Bureau. In addition, starting this week in Michigan and in our region, census workers are going to start coming door to door. And so those folks will have masks, they'll keep socially distant, but they will be collecting responses from households who haven't yet responded. So those are kind of the 4 ways that folks can respond. But if they don't feel comfortable with someone coming to their door, they want to maintain social distancing, the best way to respond to the census is either going online or calling in by phone. And like I said, it takes less than 10 minutes, but the impact is really huge.
And it's really important that everyone is counted. We cannot stress that enough. Everyone needs to be counted. So what is going on locally to increase participation?
So we have just some amazing local nonprofits in this community that have stepped up, that have been able to pivot amid COVID-19 to really make sure that folks in Saginaw Bay, Midland, and Isabella counties are reached and have the ability to be counted in the census. So many great partners. So I won't be able to list every single one, but all of our cities, our counties, our townships, local governments have really stepped up. Our local community foundations are all in partnership with this. The Great Lakes Bay Health Centers are doing amazing work. Great Lakes Bay Hispanic Leadership Institute, all of our Greater Midland community centers, folks at the state, MDHHS, NAACP, just so many great partners that are doing this work, that are outreaching with residents, providing opportunities for folks to be counted and for folks to understand why this is so important. It's just such a great thing to see that our region and our communities have stepped up in such a big way, to the point where, Midland County is one of the top responding counties in the state. Bay County is close behind. Saginaw County is doing phenomenal as well. And it's just really because of what these organizations, these partners, these local nonprofits and local governments have been able to do to outreach with residents, to make sure that there's opportunity for folks to be counted and that this community understands our voices count and our voices matter.
Chloe, if someone is just saying they're contemplating, it's just me, it's just my family, I don't need to get counted, what is a message you want to make sure that you get out there?
I would say that the census is about community power, and it's about things that each and every one of us depend on in this community. And so, if folks are like, it's not worth my time, I don't need to do that, I would really challenge that and say, do you want your community to be a better place for yourself? Do you want your community to be a better place for your family, for your loved ones, for your friends? This is an easy way that you can be involved in our democracy, taking less than 10 minutes of your time, but the impact, the dollars to the community, the political voice is so huge. It's so worth it to take that 5 or 10 minutes and make sure that you're counted and make sure that your kids are counted. Those dollars come back to our schools. Those dollars come back to, our community food banks, our health centers, all of these organizations, our libraries, stuff that touches each person's lives on a day-to-day basis. The census is a huge way that we can be involved in our democracy. And again, it takes less than 10 minutes, but the impact is huge. And I'd encourage anyone, who's questioning or is unsure, go to the website, check it out, take the 5 minutes to do it, and make sure that money and that political voice comes back to the Saginaw Bay region.
That is such an important message. Thank you so much. So make sure that you're counted. Thank you, Chloe, for calling in. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me. And, go Great Lakes Bay region. Let's show the state, let's show the country what we're made of. We've got about 1 month left here to still be able to take the census. We're doing a great job so far, but let's, throw this out of the park. Let's get this done. And show the folks at the state and national level what we're made of. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. We can do this. Be counted. If you want more information, head on over to the hot link section at WNEM.com.